I think I've just proven the best method of cutting out a hairpiece from a hair system. Step one, have a mannequin head that is secure and it cannot rotate. Step two, so what I'm saying here is you don't want really a mannequin head on a tripod or sitting freely on a table. You need it clamped down. And you need a spline shaft to lock it in, okay? Locked. So you need this clamped in because the thing that you want to rotate is simply the hair system when you're cutting out your hairpiece. Step three, you need a pin, a thumbtack basically, to shove through the center to rotate. This is after you have already traced your stencil or your template over the top of your hair system so that you know what the shape of your hairpiece will be. Okay, so during that phase, if you do make it out of one of these things, which I think is good because at the end of the day, you're gonna have to make something that's hard plastic as a template. And if you make it out of sticky tape and cling wrap or Saran wrap, it's going to be flimsy. So this, when pressed down, even though it does not you can't penetrate through that with a little pin. You need a longer pin to get through there to hold it in position for tracing purposes. It will still have enough tension for tracing. In terms of the pens that I used, these blue ones that are supposed to be washable, water erasable pens, I'm still hoping that that's all just washed out, all blue from here. I think me wiping it was probably insufficient using those baby wipes, but you're always going to rinse your hairpiece under a tap and brush it before you put it on your head anyway. And now it seems like there's no blue left, so that worked. So it did erase. So I don't think it is questionable. I think you can trust those so long as you use enough pressure with the water, or just more simply just use enough water. The baby wipes seemed like an insufficient quantity of water. So a tap is definitely sufficient. So what I'm saying is you need a mannequin head. You need it secured. A tripod will rotate on the ground unless it's gripped into the ground. Do you need bench sticking out in your bathroom? The reason I would do this in the bathroom for me, because I want to film it all in one place. You could do all this in the comfort of a desk, but it's going to get hair everywhere, isn't it? Because you're cutting out a hairpiece. So the bathroom does seem like a good spot, but I understand that most people wouldn't have a big bench space that allows you to get underneath to lock this thing down properly. This would be a lot more secure if I had a proper bench space so I could get the clamp all the way in and clamp down properly. I'm just clamping on the very tip edge here. As you can see, it's just balancing. So that's not the best, but yeah, you do need that mannequin head to stay solid and not move around or shift around on the table or rotate, because all you want to do is put a pin in that and rotate that, and then use sharp scissors. I've just ordered some more scissors off Amazon. So that's what I can tell you about cutting out and tracing your stencil. In terms of making the stencil, all I did was measure the length from the front hairline to the end of the bald area and estimated the width from the temples, and then just trace that back in a straight line basically, and that became the widest point and the longest point on this. And then from there I simply rotated this when it was intact on the table and just basically guessed the rest of the dimensions. So we're going to just see if that shape and that size resulted in a good size for my head, which we can't see right now until I shave this shit off, which I'm sort of reluctant to do in case I want to, you know, the doorbell sometimes rings, I've got to run downstairs and I've got to fucking put some hair on. I do have a hat in the meantime, but everyone else can just really, I'm not going out, until this is done, everyone can fuck off. I don't care how many weeks I have to be at home with the shades drawn, I will not leave this house bald. Next step is to put this on my head. At least see if it fits first. Maybe just shave off this extra bit so we can get better visibility and this is not in the way. Okay, that's where we're at. Make sure everything's got good battery charging. You've got a good battery charging bank of batteries ready to go. Get 5 or 6 batteries. Just spend a bit of money so you can have everything working, okay? Have this charged, have your phone charged, have no battery issues, no psychological problems. Get the fucking 8-power mirror app. Buy it so you don't have the 10-minute limit, so you can always see the back of your own head. If the batteries are all running, get some decent temperature controls in your house. Don't make a furnace like a sauna so you're sweating all the time. Your bathroom should probably be cold if you're a hair wearer because you need airflow through here. Now, my window's been shut. I did it deliberately because the house was getting too cold in winter, but now it's too fucking hot. So I'm gonna go and open my window now so I can let some breeze in. Okay, because at the moment I'm fucking sweating my ass off and it's the middle of fucking winter. That's just probably wasted energy and destruction of the environment. I just paid over $100 Australian, $99.99 for 6 years membership until 2030 for a power mirror. It's a very, very dodgy site that's mostly broken, but it has millions of people using it and it's the only way to press the record button and also stream with very minimal lag. Now we're going to see what the effects are of this new membership, this VIP membership, okay? I'm going to flip the screen inverted so that I get a mirror. Right hand is on the right with the camera there, see? Can I zoom in? No, still can't zoom in, still maxed out. The resolution has gone from 720 to 1080. I can go up to 2K apparently. I don't know what that means. Because 1080, fuck this, I've got to throw this battery in the bin. This says it was fully charged. I don't know how old this is, but it's been sitting in storage for about 10 years. Right, let me just say one thing. Having no more time limit on this A-Power Mirror app has massively alleviated some of my stress. Aside from that, I've cooled down. I'm not sweating my ass off anymore. I'm just going to flip that around and set this up. Okay, done. Now I can leave this broadcasting even while I'm using other apps in my phone and forget that it's even on, and it will keep broadcasting so long as I'm in range of this Wi-Fi in my home. I've reduced the resolution on that as well. There are 2 things I need to do before I stick this thing to my head. First thing is get rid of this bulk at the front. It's kind of a relief that as I go grey, I'm going to shave it all off and replace it with a full head of beautiful brown hair that's straight and controllable. Because my whole life's just been red sprawling hair and now balding. So it's good that I'm upgrading. It's called transhumanism, basically. Let's look at this thing. I've taken the American plug off the end of this thing. which is 7.5 volts at 1.5 amps. And this is a 12 watt transformer, and I've set it to 7.5 volts. And if you divide 12 by 7.5, you get 1.6. So the thing with amps is it's a well you need to be able to access. So if it was 1,000,000 amps, you die, but that's fine, right? It's only, this machine, hopefully with the wiring inside, will only take what it needs. I'm now going to plug this into this Australian wall socket and see if there's an explosion. Because American power supplies are only 110, aren't they? Maximum 1.2 amps. Ooh, might not be enough. Could overload. I don't know how the circuitry works on that. I don't really know what I'm doing. Okay, I'm going to turn it on there and then on there. Maybe I should turn it on here first. It already is on there. This is a very lightweight device, by the way. It feels very cheap. Okay. Very loud. Is it sucking? So loud. That's what that sounds like. That's what that sounds like. That'll wake up my entire apartment building. What time is it? I don't know. As far as I can tell, there's no suction going on. That's not spinning. Could it be that this is not providing enough watts for that second motor to be activated? That's ridiculously loud. I bought this because Remington is famous, and the other brands didn't look very famous. Is there something in there that I'm supposed to remove before using it, maybe? Maximum 1.2 amps. It's got the same little green light. Some robot thing I built. I'll sacrifice this one. Let's see how this one goes. Okay, I'm not seeing any smoke yet. This wire with a stripe I've matched up with this other wire with a very difficult to see stripe. So that should be the same negative wire. And now let's hope we get both the fan and the blade motors working here. If I turn this on. Yes, it is. So in the daytime, this is fine. The noise level, I mean. Now if I pull this out, apparently the fan will stop. No, it doesn't. It's just normal. But I wouldn't want to stick my finger down there. So the problem was this, putting out only 1.2 amps. And I seriously don't know what this magnetic coil is for. I thought that was for line reduction in audio devices. Because of my cabling experience, I have developed a system using a rubber band to make sure that these things never uncoil, which is really fast to put on and fast to undo. It's really good. I'll show you one day. All right, this has a cable, a cord attached, and it's fucking loud. And it wants to slip out of my hand. I have to put a guard on it. Remington vacuum hair clipper. I will be bleaching the front of not only this hairpiece, but all the hair systems that are yet to be cut into hairpieces. 25mm or 1 inch. 18mm, 3/4 of an inch. 12mm, 1/2 inch. Right taper and left taper. I guess other sides. 3mm or 1/8 of an inch. 9mm or 3/8 of an inch. And finally, 6 millimeters, 1/4 of an inch. I think I'll start with 9. It's got 2 wings there, right? I assume you put that there first. No, maybe not. Just press down hard, slide it in. Okay, it wants to be slid in. Slide it. Now that's locked, that's good, it's strong. It's pretty strong. Okay, that's strong. Vacuum clippers, let's go. Transformation time. I can feel the air blowing in. It's about as loud as a lawnmower, no, hairdryer. And that's working. Come around here and have a look. Homer, it's like there's a party in my mouth and everyone's invited. It works exceptionally well. How nice it is to have that caught for me. Fuck yeah, it's great. I feel like maybe I should have chosen a bigger guard. Just a second, is that how bald I am? Nah. I did something weird. That's not how bald I am, that's fucked up. That's not how bald I am. I went deep with that somehow. Surely. See, the blades are there, they're not there. Even though that's narrow there, it's that thick when you get to the blade. I'm gonna go up to a bigger guard. How do I get this thing off? But keep pushing, yeah, just keep pushing forward. So 9 was too short. I want to go up to a 12. I'm going to slide in this way. Yeah, and the teeth stop it because there's a lip. Alright, let's do the 12. Holy fuck, I have been in denial about how thin I am up here. It sure isn't nice having this thing blobbing around in my face. So I will extend this cable down and move the coil further along so it's down near the power point instead of next to my face. I would rather this whole thing be battery powered, but as we know, battery powered shit fails, and this requires more power than a battery could reasonably provide. However, it is so light, it's really light, okay? Now it's full of hair, so I'm gonna go empty this. And I'll come back. That's a really good toy. That's a good toy. I'm gonna get empty this. I was really worried about how loud it was, but fuck, I'm mess free for the first time ever after using one of these things. But shit, being able to see this from above, it's remarkable how much hair is missing from all of this. I can finally see. And look how red all this is too. Is that just the lighting? I'll be back. I'm just gonna empty this. Yeah, I'm surprisingly impressed. This is crazy bald. Yeah, Yeah, that's male pattern baldness right there. Right there. Yeah, that's for sure. For sure. Okay, I gotta do something about this. A front partial is no longer gonna give me the coverage I need, is it? I need a full topper. It seems like it's too much, it's overexposed, the footage from this end, so I'm just gonna change the dimmer level here. Just turn off the mirror. It's just exclusively using the, I'll turn off the main room light. Alright, so now it's just me and the dimmer, okay? This is a much better light than the Ulanzi. This is the Niwa light. I like it, the smartphone rig. Much better. Okay. It's a really bright spot there, isn't it? Why is it so overexposed? That seems fairly real. No, it's just jumped. Like iPhone's choosing its own exposure settings on the fly. It's not giving me good visibility. I need the white balance and the exposure to kind of lock. It is useful when lighting conditions keep changing. Alright. So I've got a lot more light now, and if they were locked, then it would be a problem. So maybe I'll just leave all the lights on more so I can. So have a full look here. So I went ahead and shaved off the excess, but the iPhone cannot be trusted with its standard inbuilt camera to give me a constant level of exposure, f-stop, ISO, or whatever other complicated camera settings that I don't understand, to provide accurate reproduction of reality with photography. So I need to manually override that. I do have a Filmic app, which I paid for a while ago so I could do some better filming on my iPhone. I really would love to get the iPhone 15 because that would allow me to use USB-C, and once I have that, I don't have to buy any more lightning connectors ever again. It'll all be USB-C, everything I have, it'll be perfect. Obviously there's still some old things and some cheap things that you use micro USB, which is a pain in the ass, but once the world moves to USB-C, it'll just be just stress-free, less car accidents, more people hugging each other, dogs and cats living together, everything. It'll just be beautiful. So I need to be able to see the top of my head accurately. In this Lumix G7, which I've set to whatever settings, I just wound it until it looked bright enough. It hasn't got it's got a shit autofocus, so I've set it to manual. But just looking at it from here, I genuinely am not that bald past this area, despite what I just saw through the iPhone. Let me just stand up and try to get a proper top of my head perspective. I'm just going to lean forward, try to line up my head, and just look down. How bald am I? Give it to me straight, Doc. Why have I got the microphone all the way over there? By the way, I also bought a lead, an extension cord for the audio out from my microphone for when I do puppets or whatever in the future, so I can get real-time foldback from my Yeti microphone. Put that back on charge. I'm going to keep these always charged now for that light in there. I have been thinking maybe it would be worth getting a barrel connector cable to put over to that mirror whenever I leave the room, so that I don't have to take the batteries out, because sometimes the light's up high and I've got to reach in and grab this thing out and it knocks it. It's not too bad though. So as long as I replace that fucking magic what I should have bought but doesn't exist is some kind of microphone stand which has a friction rotating arm. I want it to be neat. The great thing about that clamp at the moment despite the fact that it's just connected weakly by a screw that holds the whole thing on it, it just wobbles back and forward, is that it, coming straight down from the periscope rod, it just bolts straight on at a right angle, which is beautiful. There's no excess sticking through. But it wouldn't matter that much if there was a bit of excess poking out the other side. Because you know a microphone stand, so you've got to stand like this, then the microphone pole's coming down and it ends up over here, just poking out the other end. Whereas that thing is just stops right there. So that's more beautiful. If I could get a clamp that just locked in from the pole directly at some sort of angle, didn't have protrusion out here, because we don't, well, that would be nice to be able to slide forward and back as well. Yeah, okay, I don't really mind a bit of protrusion, because then you can extend the length of this thing telescopically. But the thing is, yeah, I mean, that's the difference between a telescopic pole, which folds to that distance there, and just so that when you extend it, it comes out to this distance, versus a pole that is already this distance and just slides forward and backwards inside a holder of some sort. Okay, I think either would be acceptable. In fact, don't really even need telescopicness on that. And I don't think tele and scopic are relevant in what I'm doing here, but I don't know the word for extendable. Extendable. That's what I should have said. Okay, I do know the word. Extendable. All right. I need to continue on this mission, despite what you might have seen, because I might not be that bald, but I'm a little bit bald, and I think overall I do suffer from perimeter problems here. I don't know what the perimeter problems are going to be like when they're here, and I still haven't figured out where that hairpiece is going to end until I try it on properly. Oh, I did wet it, didn't I? I could go and try to brush it into position, but I just don't want to work on it anymore today. Every day I just do a little bit more. I got about 15 missed messages here. I gotta go and deal with life for a while. I'm gonna have to shave all of that out. Probably conforming to the shape of this if it's correct. How do you guys do this? Which is the front? I don't even know. I guess the neat side. This is the front. I'm sure of it. Okay. I'm gonna just flip. I'm gonna hold the temple. Temple 1. I think that's temple 2 about there, maybe. I'm just going to try to center this over onto my head. It's not wet anymore, so it's all over the place. Now this is going to be hard to cut and deal with if it's not stuck to my head. So I need to adhere it to some extent. How do I start? One, two, three, 4, 5, 6. As I was stacking these on top of one another, always a fucking phone battery warning. I'm testing to see if these things are bilaterally symmetrical. That way is perfect. Now if I flip it, it's no longer bilaterally perfect. You can see the big air bubble in the gap. So it really is narrower in one direction. There is fuck is the camera? Fuck. There, shit. There is a front end to these things. Two things on the way through. One is you don't need to get this iPhone holder because right now you are sitting in an iPad holder. Okay? You fit in there. So does an iPad. So, but this is more bulky. But that's okay. It's robust and it gives you options. If you only have a phone, you don't have a tablet, you have no intention of getting a tablet, I guess just get a phone holder. But I would say you have more options when you have an iPad holder. That can also accommodate a phone holder. Secondly, I told you how I'd use the rubber band to put cables, to tie up cables. So a mini right angle USB coming out the back of my Yeti in a nice way to this. I can now use any USB-A. It also prevents snaring. Before it was a straight mini USB coming down and cracking every time it got tugged on by different things around the room. This is the ultimate solution to convert any old connectors you've got like this. Don't get a hard solid one. I've got heaps of examples. I'm not going to go look for them and bring them out to show you. You know what I mean. This is how you roll a cable, okay? I'm deliberately twisting with my hand so I can get it nice. Now I've got an idea of how big I want it. I want it about that big for a cable this size. If it was a really tiny one, I might go down that small, right? And just do coils that small. Now, you don't want it to end up coiled and stuff and all messed up. See how my cable's nice and fluid and not kinked? What you need to do is you start with the end of the cable. You want to flip it out. Sometimes you need an alley. Like we had cables that were 1 kilometer long. Not really, but they ended up being 1 kilometer long because we hooked them together. They were fucking long anyway. Big rolls. It was massive. It was tons of cables. All right, so you take it like that. First loop like that, and then you twist with your wrist around so it comes around. So it's called over under, but that doesn't help people understand. Just watch what I'm doing. And watch how the cable ends up. This is a very rigid, very, very rigid cable. Okay, let's come around like that. Now I'm going to twist around that way. And as I go, I'm trying to make it just equity-sized loops. Okay, over, under. If you do a couple of the same ones, it doesn't matter that much. Now, here's something that I invented that I've never seen anyone else in tech do, or roadies do. Take a rubber band around the outside of all of it, pull it through itself, and just put any of these two ends through. Now it's locked. Sometimes if the rubber bands are small and weak, like this is a very lightweight, easy to handle cable, you'd get bigger rubber bands or you'd use multiple rubber bands. And you just do them together, just like I showed you. Then to remove it, just figure out which one has to come out. And you pull that out. And now the whole rubber band is free. Okay? And rubber bands are cheap and you get boxes of them. So I'm just gonna put it around like that, take that, put my thumb through there like that, take that bit there like that, and that's done. Okay, now you can put it with all the other cables and they're all gonna get tangled up. Thought I might show you how to do that. It might help you in life. While we're on the topic of helping you and things in life, the stresses that I experienced to say, fuck you, fuck this shit, I fucking hate everything, it's too much, I hate the world, I'm sweaty, I'm hot, everything else. When you have all this fucking anger and pain and suffering all around you, it's a list. If you get through that list, your pain will be gone. You just go through, or even if you just, each time you flick something off the list, you now only have, let's say there were 10 things, you now only have 9/10 of those things remaining. And not only is it just a little bit less pain and you're still feeling a lot of pain, you actually sort of feel like you can come up for a breath, even though this list is still here, and feel a bit of relief because you feel like you checked something off the list and that makes you feel better for a while. But you still have this list. You want to get all those things off your list, unless they're impossible. You know what I mean? Somebody else has to do it to help you, or you're depending on somebody else and they won't do their part to make it happen. They will be the cause of your suffering from that point. And you can say some lifestyle instruction book nonsense to make it seem like you can still put the blame on yourself for what they're doing to you. But really it's going to be a wound until they come back. And if you do cut ties with them and no longer have that expectation they will come back for you, that wound will heal as a scar. You're permanently damaged from what that person's done to you. There's no, oh, forgive and forget, just keep moving. There's none of that. Every time fucking somebody lets you down, they're causing you permanent damage. But you will have a lot of scars by the end of your life, that's guaranteed. I'm happy to report that I found a replacement for this magic arm. And I'm going to send this back for a refund, okay? Because this clamp, this screw on this clamp that connects to the magic arm, just rotates freely. Now unfortunately I can't come down lower with my new solution, unless I lower the periscope, which is this screw here. But I'll get that tomorrow, and that will be a solution for most of you, because you can actually clamp it to a desk, or if your bathroom has a deep enough overhang, you could clamp it to your bathroom basin bench. What is this called? Your vanity. You can clamp it to your vanity. For now, the first thing I gotta do is lower this down a bit so we can get an overhead camera. This is a hairpiece I've cut, and this is a hair system that has not been cut. Maybe you can see a good size comparison by looking at how much I've cut out. This is what I've been wearing for the last, well, it's a bit bigger than it was originally. I've slowly sized up, but this is basically what I've been wearing for the last 14 years. So it's a bit of a size jump. I need to cover all of this. And that's not gonna do it. This is what I will use to do that. I'll put a link to everything, including this, in the description below this video. Pretty neat and easy. So we put these, it becomes like a little rubbish bin, okay? It's a bin. You can get rid of the gloves, you can get rid of this message saying warning, don't eat it. First thing you want to do is take off the lid of this stuff, puncture it with the lid, squeeze all that into there. This goes in the rubbish bin, so does the lid. You can get rid of this top lid thing as well. This is the after color treatment. I'll just put that in the sink. It says here, cut along this diagonal line. And put that bit and that bit in the bin. Put this lid on there. Now shake this until the whole thing's purple.
Oh! Oh! Oh, God.
I'll have what she's having.
Let's take this little screw lid off, throw that out, squeeze that out, okay? The top first bit, because it's not purple. I'm gonna assume, because that's the neat end, that that's the front, but unfortunately this is a very symmetrical looking unit, but that's the front end that Lord Hair cut, and it has a steeper V-shaped front hairline than I've cut rounded at the back. So I'm gonna assume this is the front. So I'm gonna wash this. I'll just wet it. And I'm gonna flick all the water from this thing into the shower like this. Just to get rid of all the excess water, okay? I'm going to put this on the floor. No, wait, first of all, where's the front there? That's the front, okay? I'm going to brush back from the front hairline with a hairbrush. So I've bent the first inch back over with my fingers forward so I can have a grip on it. And then slowly walk my fingers back up until I can get to the front bit, okay? And just leave a little bit folded back so it stays back. Now the front hairline is exposed and ready to be bleached. If we just go ahead and do this one first. Bleach, 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 squeezing the bleach into the front. Now, given that this is not free, I would usually bleach all the hair pieces at once, but given they're not hair pieces yet, they're just hair systems, and I don't have any backup if I fail, this now just gets thrown in the garbage. And hopefully I have aimed correctly, and that is the front hairline. But I may have gone past the front hairline to somewhere like there, right? Which means that I'll have blonde here, which is bad. But I don't know. This is my first time. I've simply stuck around the contour of where the front hairline is supposed to be on a hair system, and I've put my expectations down into this hairpiece. So hopefully when it dries in half an hour, Alexa, set the alarm for 30 minutes.
30-minute alarm set for 10:42 p.m.
In half an hour I'll come back and I'll check on that. And I won't use these as guinea pigs. I will have to probably take the hairpiece off my head at some stage, even if it's perfect, take it off, just so I can make some backup pieces. Because there will be some trial and error with trying to make my shave zone correct. Yeah, I was totally planning to do all of them right now. And I still might if I suddenly just go, boom, I changed my mind. But I think to be on the safe side, I won't. And there's no point just doing the front little bit. I'm really trying to make sure that all my hair pieces never need the front to be cut out. I just want that extra bit of plastic that comes from the factory to be cut off at the factory, which Lord Hair, for example, does for free. It's just one of the check boxes when you're at checkout and making your order. They cut it off for you and it's seemingly perfect on all of them. So, my next challenge as well, one of them will be when I decide whether or not to dye my greys, how much time in my life am I willing to invest in dyeing them, because that will be an ongoing issue forever. And if I don't, then I will have to order hair pieces with grey from now on. But I don't think my face is so old that I couldn't justifiably have no greys at this point. And also I don't think people really frown upon dyeing greys anyway, unless you're 90. So yeah, don't want to be bald. Got a hairpiece, it's going to cover everything. Got a new swing arm coming. I'll probably just keep the arm that's there connected and simply replace this magic arm with something more sensible. A swing arm that is more improved. It won't be able to angle downwards, it'll just stay flat with the horizon, so height will only be adjustable from the telescopic screw here, but it will be better. I don't really mind that it can't come down at an angle because this light here and this camera can flip down anyway. So I won't need the arm itself to come down. I think. We'll see. It's arriving tomorrow before 8 p.m. according to Amazon, which is fucking amazing. I just ordered it like just before I came in here. Right, in 30 minutes or less now, I'll wash this. I was wondering why you're all blurry. These are my TV glasses, but they're merged so at the bottom I can see you. So that's the same prescription as the thick ones. Now you're blurry, now you're in focus. I just looked at the So Colored chart because now that I've decided I'm gonna have to dye my hair, dye my grays. I'm looking at this color that I've got and wondering, is it the right one? On the So Colored chart, I couldn't find a decent high resolution image. They're all just blurry little images. I figured because my hair color is medium dark brown, color number 4 on all the hair websites. Though this one seems to have faded to a lighter color, not just because it's bleached at the front. I figured that medium dark brown is my color, and that's color number 4. And so when I saw So Color was selling color number 4, this is actually 4M, but they call it dark brown. There's only dark brown, which is 4, and medium brown, which is 5. So that seems like it would be getting a bit too light, maybe. So I'm going to stick with 4, but there are different types of 4. This is color number 4M, as in dark brown mocha. There's also dark brown neutral, 4N, I think it is. And that's the only one that's available. And because I'm running out, I'm thinking, well, not really running out, but I will run out if I continue having to do this every time I change my hairpiece, once a month or something. I don't know how often you have to dye this, but sideburns grow back in a couple of weeks, I reckon. So maybe I'll be doing this every 2 weeks. Anyway, I'll show you how to do it. Get it in the sink. I don't usually wear a glove unless I'm dyeing my hair because I don't want my fingernails to turn brown, okay? While I'm bleaching my hairpiece, probably not much time left, but if I'd started at the same time, it might have aligned nicely in terms of timing. They've got to fix these baby wipe dispensers. I think you can actually buy baby wipe dispensers, proper, hard plastic ones, rather than the cheap shitty ones where it just rips open and they all come out in your pack. I'm trying to take out 1, but 30 come out. I'll be needing these to wipe all the excess dye, not bleach. Bleach is down there. This is going to be dye. To watch all the dye off my neck and ears and everything. Now I don't know if I want to dye all the way around at this point because I kind of want to check out how that looks. Maybe just for the sake of learning, I should see how bad it looks if I keep my greys. But I could pretty much tell. If I just put this on my head for a second, I could pretty much tell that it's gonna look bad. It's gonna almost be a tell, a giveaway that this is not my real hair because I'm too grey for that to be my real hair. Even though I know people acknowledge that you go grey there first, it might not blend, it might be a dead stop. So that could be like a wall of grey, and I don't want that to look like that. So what I would do generally, let's look at this bowl. This is what I would do. I'll take the So Color and squeeze a bit in there and then pour the same amount of this High Lift 10 vol, which is also 3%. I don't know what that means, but apparently 10 vol and 3% mean the same thing. This is called creme peroxide for hair. So you get one of those and one of those, a glove and a bowl, and you mix it together. Then you paste it over your hair, everywhere. Try not to avoid your ears. If you get it on your ears, use baby wipes because you're gonna have to clean it off. Just think the back and inside and tops of your ears when you're putting it on. Get your sideburns properly and everything, and your beard if you need to, if you want your beard dyed. And wait half an hour. And in half an hour, you got to go and basically have a shower. Unless you've got a bath or a sink or something, you want to dip and splash your fucking messy purple looking stuff all over the place. It looks purple, but it dries in your hair brown. And it will last until your hair is cut or falls out, because it's not going anywhere, that dye colour. You maybe dye over the top of it, I don't know. I heard that it can become a bit straw-like because you're drying it out and damaging the hairs with it. But I don't think this makes you more bald. It might, I don't know. But that's not my concern. It's just, I don't expect to go bald here and here. You know what I mean? I've done it before and it had no effect on my sides becoming bald. As it stands, I'm not going to do it now because I want to just show you the before and after. So once the hairpiece is done, we'll do that. Then we'll do the dyeing. Not while it's on my head, I'll probably take the wig off for that, even though it's going to be a pain in the ass to remove it. But just so that I can go through every conceivable step during this process to get it all how I'll want to keep it for many years or weeks or months or whatever to come. It's worth the investment of time. Even though I'm sort of in the mood to do this right now, get rid of the greys, I'll wait so we can see what that thing looks like up against the greys. So I have options. But it will never be an option if I go grey back here. I don't ever want to look like a fucking top deck. It's 30 minutes. It's so much heavier than what I'm used to. Let's see if we can gauge whether or not this is a good front hairline. Alright. So at a glance, you can't tell that it's a different colour, right? But what I'm hoping is that close up will be less of a problem, because you don't want all this shit. But at the front hairline, it's more obvious. Hopefully 30 minutes was enough, but I'm not seeing any difference. That is the front, right? That is the bleach bit, surely. That does look a little bit blonder there, doesn't it? If it'll take a chunk of these hairs for a second, if we go start back here and go in there, it does get a bit blonder, totally. But what we can't do is penetrate under the poly. So as you know, V-lips are supposed to go like this, but what they really go is like this. And it's this line here that we can't get to unless they do it at the factory. That's why there are bloody lines all through it, all the time. This is just a makeshift method of trying to reduce that effect, so it doesn't look like straight line doll hair coming all the way through. And now, this is why you wouldn't want to get a low density hairpiece if it was poly, because they don't bleach the roots. And if anyone looks at your head, they would clearly see this at all times. This is more pronounced because the hair is wet and it's long and it's pulling away from itself. But it doesn't look real because of the lines. Like I say, if you bleach it at the factory, inside, I've explained it before. People who stitch these things stitch each hair in through a very, very skinny layer of poly. They stitch it through all the hairs, every single one. Let's say it's a foot long hair, now it comes out as 2 6-inch hairs on either side because it's gone through a little bit. underneath the skin. Now, when they flip it at the end of the process, after they've stitched all the hairs in, all those little exposed hairs are sticking out like little U shapes at the back, or V's as they call it, right? That's the perfect moment to bleach the back of it all. 30, 40 minutes, I don't know. Whatever it takes to make them blonde. This could weaken them a little bit, but who gives a fuck? At least they'll be invisible. Then coat the whole lot with liquid poly, but not before you bleached it. They skip that step and they just cover it with liquid poly, let it dry, and then they sell it to you. That's it. They don't bleach the roots. So now I'm coming in afterwards and trying to bleach the roots retrospectively, but I cannot penetrate this zero viscosity poly protective layer, so I can't get in there. But on the surface, at least, hopefully it'll give the illusion that it is naturally growing out of my head a little bit. Otherwise I just have to have a brushed forward look to cover it, cover the factory's mistake of not bleaching their roots. But I am getting pretty excited, like, to be having not one of these anymore. It was scarier before, the idea of shaving all this off, but I'm getting used to the idea now that I've seen from certain angles that it looks pretty fucking bald up there. But in the other camera it doesn't really look that bald. But I know back here it is a lot more bald.